Hi, I'm Mark Durban.
And I'm Rick Keppler. Over on the east end of Big Bear Valley, before Big Bear City ever existed, there was the Pan Hot Springs Inn.
In 1925, a guest by the name of Harry Kiner checked into this resort. But he wasn't there just to take advantage of the natural hot springs that fed into the resort's swimming pools.
Kiner was a Los Angeles real estate developer, and he was there scouting out a suitable location to build a new resort and subdivision.
He decided that the undeveloped ranch land just west of this Pan Hot Springs Inn would be ideal. 2 years later, in 1927, Kiner was back in Big Bear, building and subdividing.
He started by constructing this clubhouse office building on a hill just south of today's Big Bear Boulevard. He then laid out streets and neighborhoods which would surround a new golf course. He called this new resort the Peter Pan Woodland Club, and the subdivision was named Big Bear City.
3 years later, in 1930, Kiner hired Guy Maltby, also from Los Angeles, to build a massive new multi-story clubhouse directly on the golf course on the northwest side of the Greenway and Country Club intersections.
It's important to note that Kiner knew for his project to succeed, it would have to have enough amenities to attract potential vacation home buyers away from the lake. He was going to have to build the largest, most exclusive resort in Big Bear, and he proceeded to do just that.
Among the impressive features of the new clubhouse was a massive rock fireplace, which had a model railroad built into it, with model trains winding their way among the rocks. There was also a huge dining room, a gift shop, a gymnasium, a coffee shop, and even a movie theater.
In addition to the clubhouse and golf course, there were tennis courts and a swimming pool. Members also had exclusive access to the club's hunting preserves, bridle paths, and boat docks over on the lake.
Lodging at the club was restricted to members only and their guests. Eventually, that membership list grew to read like a who's who of Hollywood. This Old Grizzly article from 1946 talks about Jack Benny's visit to the Woodland Club.
This image looks west across Greenway Drive towards the Woodland Club in the early 1940s. And this is what the same view looks like today. Some of the old stone pillars that once surrounded that resort still actually exist.
Check out this view of the swimming pool and tennis courts. In the background, there is a small building. This was the golf course Caddy Shack. A few years ago, this building was moved a few hundred yards north to the Big Bear Museum.
And under the direction of curator Kim Sweet, it was restored by Historical Society members. It is now used to display historical information, photos, and artifacts, which showcase the history of both the Woodland Club and Big Bear City. Go check it out.
The Woodland Club was truly Big Bear's premier resort up until June 18, 1948. That's when the main clubhouse was reduced to ashes in an early morning fire, as reported in the San Bernardino Sun.
Over the years, a few people have argued that the Woodland Clubhouse did not actually burn in 1948. They tell about how they had dined at the club's restaurant or swim in the pool as late as the 1960s and 70s.
The reality is this: the Woodland Clubhouse was destroyed in 1948, and it was never reopened. However, if you remember at the beginning of this video, we showed that there was an earlier but smaller Woodland Clubhouse building on a hill south of Big Bear Boulevard, which had been built in 1927. Well, after the fire in 1948, that original clubhouse building still existed.
And once all of the debris from the fire was cleaned up, it was decided that this original 1927 clubhouse would be raised up and hauled down the hill by trucks over to the golf course and then placed next to the swimming pool, which had also survived the fire.
After some remodeling and adding of a couple smaller buildings, the resort was reopened under the name Peter Pan Rancho. And it is this resort, not the Woodland Club, that people today remember visiting back in the 1960s and 1970s.
Unfortunately, the Peter Pan Rancho was never able to recapture the grandeur that the Peter Pan Woodland Club had achieved. And today, both of these resorts have long since vanished into history.
And that's our look at the resort that created Big Bear City.
See you next time.